one semi-final that gets ended in almost half the stage. So South Africa versus New Zealand that got ended after around 32.5 overs. And another semi-final, we get to see almost 500 runs in one match. That's a hell of a match. So when we have such a match, irrespective of the participants, irrespective of the countries that contested, that actually invites a discussion and a lot of stories to unpack, a lot of narratives to unfold. Here in Deep Point, today I am taking the initiative. We are welcoming you all. I am Sanlap, and along with me I have Chinmoy. So, Chinmoy, one word about the match or one sentence that you would like to say about the match that we just saw?
It was nerve wracking. I think I just came back from my walk and I had my bag just beside me. I was watching the match in my smartphone and I was bit nervous. I knew somewhere that we have Bumrah get
Yes.
over the line, but still there were moments where I felt something bad can happen, and but thankfully we are over the line and we are in final.
Yeah,
So
that was
that's
we
a
just
good thing.
escaped a very, very big setback. So just imagine
Yeah,
had we not defended 253 on a semi-final, how, how much of an image tarnishing would have happened for Indian cricket team. So thankfully,
yeah,
we just, just we were good enough to defend the total. And let's not forget the contributions of Bumrah, Pandya, and Axar. I think these three together they deserve a shout out for today's performance.
100%.
So let's start from the beginning. And so just if we recapitulate our previous videos also, we in this channel especially, like you always, vouched for the fact that Sanju should be in the playing 11. And we always had this feeling that India is kind of committing a mistake by playing three left-handers. So I'm just giving you the change in, the picture of Indian batting. So we will talk about Indian bowling a little later. So let's think
Hmm.
about Indian batting. So till the times India versus South Africa happened, India was facing serious issues with top order. There were no big knocks apart from a few from Ishan Kishan from the top order, and India was losing early wickets. So from that, cut to from the match of India versus Zimbabwe, we have had two 250 plus scores, India versus Zimbabwe, and today. And the other match where we were chasing, we almost chased at 200. So that's the improvement of Indian batting that we could see. And the result or the cause is, one man inclusion, Sanju Samson. Now, just okay, so from a different perspective, I am just, apart from the fact that he is a righty, and since I was also mentioning in the previous videos that since the fact that he is a righty, you need to break the combination of the opponent bowler of, using an off spinner early on. So today also we saw that an off spinner was used early on. We talked about Will Jacks being used early on, and today Abhishek also again fell a victim of him. But what do you think? What is the X factor in Sanju that is, that has changed the picture entirely? If we see Sanju's scores this tournament, Namibia, he played that eight ball blinder, 22 of eight balls. Then a very good inning, very good cameo innings in the Zimbabwe match. Then two of match winning innings. And so I would personally I rate the last match's innings higher than today's innings. But today's innings was also apart from that dropped catch, he was looking like he can never be dismissed. So what do you think is the magic of Sanju that we are all of a sudden, observing, and that too in crunch situations, in pressure situations, and when the tournament is, in such a very important scenario.
Yeah. So I will come to Sanju's batting, but let's talk a bit about his journey and the story Sanju Samson. A lot of players, lot of ex players vouch for him, vouch for his talent. Even I remember great Shane Warne. He used to say that Sanju should be in all formats of the game, and he is that big a talent. And every time he played a beautiful 40 or 50, people would say, yes, but can he do it consistently? And that's the same discussion we had in this channel and offline also when we talked about Sanju. Now, Sanju will play a good innings and then there will be a lean patch. And every time he get out early, then the same conversation would start again. Okay, that maybe it does not belong at this level. I think what has changed is obviously there is that discussion or narrative that the team management has not given Sanju a long rope or long run, and that led to Sanju not being so consistent. But I think from Sanju's side also there is some issue in terms of how he approached his game. Now, what has changed, I think he has worked on that he started taking more responsibility and I remember last match, post match conversation with I think Patel or somebody else,
mm,
he
mm,
was
mm,
mentioning that he might have played uh, 20, 30 or 40 matches for India, but he had watched a lot of matches from the dressing room, from the bench, and he observed Rohit and Kohli finishing those matches and
mm,
taking responsibility. So he said, I learned from that, and also he said my lean patches helped me to introspect and come back to the zone where I have now started taking responsibility. And I think he encashed on the form that he has now got from the last match, and he's continuing that.
mm,
If you actually look at Sanju's innings, he's not hitting every ball blindly. Now he is actually watching the ball very keenly and he
mm,
is playing all the deliveries on merit.
mm,
And that's what is different now.
mm,
I think Sanju has changed his approach a bit because he's seeing that one kind of approach is or one size fit all kind of approach is not working at this level, and he's experienced enough to understand that he's skilled enough to change his game a bit, and I think he's this is a start of Sanju Samson 2.0 where we will see many more such innings now.
mm.
And if he continue to means have this form and play in this fashion, the day is not far when we will see Sanju Samson in ODIs also. Because
Mm,
this kind of a talent, you can't keep such a talent outside for a long time, because
mm,
if he can win matches for India in one format, you can obviously take him in another format also. But the way he has played in both these matches, the back to back player of the match awards, and not just small contribution,
yeah,
both the innings were game defining innings under pressure. So
absolutely.
both these matches are knockout matches, and the way he has played, we have to give it to Sanju Samson, and I think this is what makes this moment emotional for Sanju fans,
Yeah.
because all these fans have been waiting for a long period of time
Mm,
for having these days, because it feels like validation for them, right?
mm,
It feels like all those years of saying, wait, you will see what this man can do. And finally, that has come true on the biggest stage. It's not just an IPL game or a bilateral series. There can't be a bigger stage than this. And I think Sanju Samson fans now have something to cheer about and something to say in all the debates and discussions they will have with their peers. So there is obviously certain amount of grace and elegance to his batting, like Rohit Sharma, but Sanju Samson now has find his rhythm
mm,
and timing and balance and everything. So now with all his cricketing aesthetics, all the good looking shots and everything, now he has added responsibility, he has added match awareness, he is actually now applying him and his skills and his experience to match situations. So not just reckless hitting, not any kind of desperation, but real calmness, authority, and class. So kudos to him. Really, I'm also one of his admirers. So I'm also happy and a bit emotional today to see him doing well now. And I think this is a start of something really big for a player like him. Yeah. So that's what I think. And I think there is not big changes, but there are certain tweaks he has made in his game and the way he's approaching the game, and that has made all the difference. That's what I think.
I think there is another point whenever we are mentioning Sanju Samson, there is another name associated with him, and in the past 1.5 years, the combination that has worked like magic for India. The other name is Abhishek Sharma. Now,
100%.
just before the tournament started, he knew that we are having a gun opener in Abhishek Sharma, and almost every Indian fan was confident about that uh, Abhishek Sharma will win around 3 to 4 games inside this tournament. Now, when that backfired, all of a sudden you will automatically become extremely dependent on the other person. And all of a sudden, when India, I am talking about the initial games when India were trying Abhishek and Ishan Kishan played a few brilliant knocks also, just just to counter the failure of Abhishek Sharma in those matches. Ishan Kishan kind of compensated in those games, but you see the fact of which doesn't change is when a player like Sanju, what he is bringing into the table is more than hitting or more than the strike rate. He is also bringing the stability. You know very well that Sanju is a since he is a proper batsman, he has all types of shots with him. He can defend the ball if he wants. He can maneuver the singles and doubles if he wants. He can play the spin. He can play the pace. He technically has no weaknesses in his batting. The only problem that he was having was in his temperament. His temperament and the fact that he was always banking on playing some, inconsistent shots. That was the problem. Now, when that problem goes away, now we are being able to see what Sanju Samson is. Now, there is a lot of saying that Sanju has no footwork. Sanju is, but that is not footwork is not everything. T20 especially is not the format where footwork, actually is important in that way. So there are many such batsmen who, with zero footwork, they have been extremely, explosive batsmen in this format of the game. Even if we remember
Yeah.
Virender Sehwag, he
Sehwag.
was he was one
Total
of the
hand-eye.
he was one of the greatest openers,
Yeah.
and in which format? In tests.
Mm,
So,
mm,
so now the fact of the matter is Sanju might not be having footwork. That is another story. But the
mm,
fact is Sanju has the capability of you know hitting those balls which are not bad balls from the bowlers, which I find very
mm,
special about Sanju. So when a bowler, so maybe the bowler is hitting the hard length in the initial phase, and that stand and deliver approach of Sanju, where he can put those hard length deliveries straight into the stands over the bowler's head, so that actually puts a lot of pressure into the bowlers. Now,
mm,
if we move from Sanju a little bit, so he has played one of the greatest knocks today. Now, bringing in Sanju changed the batting order of another person in this batting lineup, that is Tilak Varma.
okay.
And just see the change that has happened in Tilak Varma also. Against Zimbabwe, he played a blistering knock. Against
Mm,
West Indies, his stay in the crease actually made sure that India's asking rate is never going high. He brought in some brilliant shots. It was just a brilliant catch from Hitmeyer that, stopped his innings. Otherwise, he was going, ballistic. Today,
mm,
that 21 of 7. How
mm,
important do you think that knock is now when you look at
mm.
the picture that India won only by 7 runs? So, how do you think
Yeah,
Tilak Varma's change in the batting lineup, how do you think that has worked for India?
I think now he has that clarity that
Hmm.
he has a very specific role, and I think he has the game. Obviously, he has the game. He can hit the ball long against both pacers and spinners, and he has that game. But what was happening earlier when he was coming early at three, and when you have players like Sanju and Abhishek, maybe you have to come in the first over itself.
Hmm.
There will be situations when you have to come at three, and that three position is almost like an opener. You are playing the role of an opener, which is not his game, and that's why he was struggling. And I think also when you are saying you have to utilize the power play overs, so a batsman is coming against the best bowlers, against new ball, and you are not habituated to play in that particular position. All the things are stacked up against Tilak.
Hmm.
He could have played at four, but Surya is playing at four. That's an issue. But I think somehow getting the position of finisher is helping him in the sense that now he has that clarity that he has to come and finish the games for India along with Hardik and Shivam Dube. In that sense, he has that clarity and he's playing it with perfection. I
Absolutely.
think he's one of the most important player now in the team,
Hmm.
along with Ishan Kishan and Sanju and others. And that's why India is doing well now,
Hmm.
because all of them now have very clear role. Even when we are talking about Sanju's innings, both these 80 plus innings, what we have to see that Sanju's innings also have different parts, and all those different parts have different roles. For example, Sanju is again playing that 11 balls 22, or
Yes,
say
yes, yes.
15 balls 30 kind of innings early, and that is giving India that start and giving Abhishek Sharma and others to settle down.
Hmm.
It's a bit I will not say disappointing, but it's a bit off-footing in the sense that Abhishek Sharma is getting that opportunity to settle down and play, say, a 50 plus kind of an innings, but somehow he's in that phase of his career when nothing is working for him.
Hmm.
Otherwise, Sanju's inclusion has helped the whole team in the sense that now all the pieces are making sense, and all of these players are now have very defined kind of a role, and that's great for any sports person. When
Hmm.
in any you see, even in soccer also, when all the players have their roles defined, that makes a great team, and that's how you make a champion team. Now I can see that in this team, because we earlier we had champion players, but in the initial part of this tournament we did not have a champion team.
Hmm.
Now, as the roles are clearly defined, now we have champion team, not just bunch of champion players. So that's the difference now, and I'm really happy. Both of us were shouting out loud that please include Sanju, not because we like or love Sanju, because we like this team, and
Hmm.
we like sport. We want to see our team do well, and the solution to the problem that India had is Sanju, in the sense that it will bring in a right hander and it will address a lot of problems just by one move.
Hmm.
So all the players will have rules defined, and also you will dislodge the plans that opposition team has against you. So today also somehow they got the wicket of Abhishek Sharma, but the presence of Sanju made it difficult for England to execute that plan. Abhishek
Hmm.
Sharma somehow given his wicket to them
Hmm.
by playing that shot, because he is not in that zone. I think after his illness and that
Yes.
issue that he had, after that he is not in his zone. That's the issue. And players like Sanju, Abhishek, Ishan Kishan, all of them you have to have to be in that mental zone.
Mental state.
Otherwise, their mental state they have to be in flow. Otherwise, they can't function. Same
Absolutely.
with Barun, and we will come to Barun's case. Barun also have to be in his zone and in his
Mm,
flow. Otherwise, he is not that kind of a bowler who will pause, think, and then come up with similar kind of performance. These players are momentum oriented players. If the momentum is not with them in terms of the mental state they have, in terms of how they are performing, they somehow does not perform at that level. Same with, I think, Butler. If he is
mm.
not in that zone, he is a different player altogether. Once tell tell me how many Butlers we have in T20 cricket. Only
Yeah.
one. You can't have any other player like Butler. He is a champion batter. Okay, if
So
he
today
were
I
the
was
Butler, we know he would have finished the match for
Today I
England.
was having a fear that since Butler has not functioned properly in this entire tournament, so when India had put that total, I was having a fear that if Butler all of a sudden
Mm,
comes in his form, then he is a player who can chase this down. He has done that.
100%.
He has done that before. Okay. Now let's since you have mentioned this name, and so just before we get to that side of discussion, and we will be discussing India's bowling also. So I think today's most positive takeaway from India's batting was almost
Mm,
everyone chipped in. So if
mm,
you look at the contribution of all the batters, so Ishan played a very good knock, Shivam
mm,
played a very good knock, and also we
mm,
saw that last cameos from Tilak and Hardik. So almost just before entering the final, India is
mm,
having a feeling that our batsmen are right now, they are in touch. Yes,
mm,
this ground is absolutely different from Ahmedabad. Maybe the pitch will also be different from Ahmedabad. I'm not expecting such a built-up track in Ahmedabad, and the ground will be definitely bigger than what we saw today. This was a very small ground that where India and England played, but still our batsmen are now right now in touch, which I think a little bit, it is not holding true for New Zealand, because in the semi-final,
mm.
almost the entire innings was taken down by
They're a
two players.
top heavy side. So they
Yes.
have the top three that is dictating the terms.
Mm.
Other players are like fillers. Obviously, I'm not
They're one, they are
downgrading
one, two, and four. So that
four.
is dictating the terms in case of batting.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
let's shift a little bit to India's bowling. And today,
mm,
I think we need a discussion on, you mentioned this name just now, Varun Chakravarthy.
mm,
Let me give you my input about Varun Chakravarthy a little bit. Abhishek and Varun both are still ICC number one batsman and number one bowler.
mm,
So that shows how
mm,
well they have performed in the last 1.5 years. And Varun Chakravarthy surprisingly is now the one of the highest wicket takers in the tournament. So
mm.
he is right now having 13 wickets along with three
Yeah.
others, and he is now the highest wicket taker also. And so
Even when
that's
he
such.
goes for 60 runs, he picks one or two
Yeah,
wickets. That's how he
one
is.
wicket, but generally, like since the game against South Africa, his wicket taking has come down, and also he is
Yeah.
going for plenty of runs.
Mm,
Now, what has happened since that match? What I have seen is if he is being hit for initial balls, like his first few balls are
mm,
going for big shots. Even today, Gavaskar also was mentioning he is forgetting his strengths, and he is not
mm,
banking on what he is known for. What he is doing is
mm,
he is increasing his speed and ending up bowling medium pace. Sometimes he is
mm,
bowling a fast googly that might be fetching him a few wickets, just like today he dismissed Butler with a fast googly. But
mm,
he had so many variations at some point. I
mm,
don't know where
mm,
has he forgotten those variations. Okay.
mm,
Yes, if you are the number one batsman, if you are the number one bowler, the opponent sides will come
mm.
prepared prepared for you. They will have special preparations for you that we have seen. Abhishek for against Abhishek, every team is coming up with an offie. That's the special preparation that they came up with against Varun. After that South Africa's match, where South African team showed that if you are, taking this bowler down in the initial few balls, then this
mm,
bowler, becomes defensive. Now, what do you think is actually the problem of Varun Chakravarthy? So today, my what where I was, we discussed this when we were chatting. Today,
mm,
I was furious with Sky's, captaincy at one point, because when you know that there is a probability of your one of the most dangerous bowler, when you know that there is a mental state problem that he has, if he should
mm,
not be going for a plenty in his first over, then why you have brought him in the power play? And that too in the
mm,
sixth over. Result, today Jacob Bethell already found a six in the previous over, and that too the man who was delivering was Bumrah. That was a bad ball, but still he put that ball out of the park, so he was in touch. Result, he hits three consecutive sixes to Varun, and
mm,
after that, Varun just went all over the place. So even before today,
mm,
Varun has given away runs. But what I found today is Varun is absolutely bowling all over the place. His lengths were not right. Either he was bowling half or he was bowling too full. And with that medium pace, he was just inviting the batsman to hit the ball. There was no
mm,
variation, there was no flight, there was no change in the speed. Once we knew Varun that he is such a dangerous bowler because he has almost five to six variations, five to six types of deliveries up
mm.
his sleeve, and that too he can deliver them in different speeds. He can mix the speeds up so well. Now he has only one speed, and he's just banking on only one type of approach. Where do you think he is going wrong?
I think you're absolutely correct. So, as spinners, you have to give air. You have to flight the ball. You should not give pace to the batter, because then you can't deceive the batter.
Hmm.
And your stop balls should be the flighted deliveries, and you should not give pace. Then only your faster ones, faster googlies, and all the faster ones that you use, that will deceive the batter. Otherwise, what he is doing, he is only using a defensive approach and firing the ball to the batter. What batters are doing, they are on their back foot. They're waiting for Varun to bowl those faster ones, and they're just hitting the ball. And the same thing happened against South Africa also. They were waiting.
Let me just give you a funny anecdote here. So my father, he is not a very regular cricket watcher, but he watched the game against South Africa. And after South Africa's game, he called me up and he asked that India doesn't have any spinner. So I said that no, yeah, Varun Chakravarthy. Varun is a spinner, but he looked like a medium pacer to me. So
Mm.
that's the level of like kind of transformation that Varun is having. So yeah, you were adding into it. So I was just coming up with a funny anecdote.
Yeah. So when Barun came to the scene, and then he was a novelty for a lot of the teams and batters. Okay. And he, that time, those carom balls, seam up deliveries and skidders, everything was new to these batters and these teams. Now teams have analyzed everything, and batters have seen uh, n numbers of Barun's footages, the release points, wrist position, lengths, everything. So, and I remember Ashwin used to say that after each series or each match, he used to practice new variation and try to add new elements to his bowling. Barun is somehow doing the opposite. Who is actually doing away with all his variations and using only the skidders and sim up delivery. He should also he should uh, come to his base and think himself as a spin bowler, and think about the flight and the all the guile that generally spin bowlers have. He also has that. He has to again come back to his roots and think about how he can now approach his bowling. I think he has to also think about the length that he's bowling. Barun's strength also was or still is, batsmen used to be a bit indecisive. Should I
Mm,
go forward or should I go back? And in that indecisiveness, those googlies and those skidders or incoming deliveries used to get batters out, either LBW or bowled. So he used to get a lot of success by doing that. He has to now think about, now Varun has to also watch his own footages. That's what I think, that what he was doing earlier, and he has to somehow again have to see that how he used to approach his bowling. Because it's one thing to watch the bowler's footages and figuring out the mystery that is there. It's another thing to actually execute as batters. Okay, that you can watch n numbers of videos, but still you will face a lot of difficulties against mystery bowler. Look at the way Sri Lankan mystery bowlers are bowling. Hazaranga and other bowlers, the teams
Chana.
must have watched n numbers of videos of them also, but still they're performing well because they are sticking to their strengths. They are obviously using same set of variations, but they're approaching and reading the game a bit differently. And you should not get too nervous about what will happen. You
Mm,
are a wicket taking bowler, so you may go for runs. You are not Sunil Narayan, that you will be the most economical bowler. And again,
exactly.
when I'm thinking about this, I'm not thinking about the KKR team is overly reliant on Varun Chakravarthy. If
Yes.
this is the kind of performances, if Varun continue this performance, then KKR is also in trouble.
That's a massive, massive reason to
Yeah,
worry.
that will be a massive setback for them if Varun Chakravarthy
Mm,
does not come back to his form, and we want him to come back to his own self in the next match because we need him.
mm,
Without him,
mm,
we were in trouble today, even after scoring 250 plus runs, because Barun was not performing. At least he, even if he performs 50% of what he is, that's enough for the final match and for KKR for now. But Barun has to reinvent himself after this tournament, and he has to think about what new elements he should add to his bowling, and how the kind of approach he is having, the kind of mindset he is having, he has to work on. So yeah, so he should not bowl defensively. Barun is the most dangerous when he attacks the stumps, forces
exactly.
batters to take risks. Batters will not take risks if you do not give them flighted deliveries, and then only they will step out and they will be a bit indecisive. So Barun is, I think Barun is should not consider himself as a mystery bowler. He is actually a proper spin bowler with different skills and variations, and he should again come back to those skill set and variation. Then I think everything will be fine for him. And obviously, in international cricket, you will get figured out by a lot of different teams and batters, but you should cope up with that. You should have that ability to cope with all those eyeballs that you have, all those scrutiny, all those analysis that you go through, and you have to somehow come out of that, and you should not overanalyze in your mind and think what the batters will do. You stick to your strength, and I think everything should be fine. If he come back to his strengths and does not think about what will happen, because anyway he's going for 3 4 6s per over. What you can't go worse than that. Okay,
Mm,
that's the worst situation you can have as a bowler. So from here he
right.
can only rise up and can have better performance. So start with the final match and then take it forward to say IPL and other bilateral series. Otherwise, I think he's like Bumrah. He's another champion bowler at least in not just, I think not just in T20 only. I think in ODI also he should be part of Indian team. And he
Mm.
has to improve his mindset and reorient his mindset a bit. I think he's still a champion bowler, and he will do.
So he was one of the most prominent match winners that we had in Champions Trophy. So he has already shown what he can do in the one days also.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
where I am finding it very difficult to, when it comes to Varun Chakravarthy, because he is the attacking spinner and he's all of a
Hmm.
sudden becoming the defensive spinner. We already have a
Yes.
defensive spinner in Axar Patel. So what
Yeah.
happened today? Now here comes today's like the name that needs a loud shout out. Jacob Bethell.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Today, the way he batted, I think one of the best innings of this World T20
Yeah.
so far,
Yeah.
and no, one of the best, and if not the best. So the
Mm.
way he just took on Varun, the way
Mm.
he manufactured shots against every other bowler, I think that requires, very, that was a commendable performance. And today, what
Mm.
exactly happened because of that, I don't know. I'm not a very big fan of matchups all the times. I think Akshar was a little bit underutilized because of the fact that
Mm.
Bethel was going so ballistic.
Mm.
Now, Akshar, today it was Akshar's day. So the way he was fielding, the way he took the catches, I think because of Akshar, I think we are right now talking in a very safe space. So he took that
200%.
wonderful catch of Brook, and I think that one catch of Will Jacks where he threw the ball to Shivam and Shivam completed that.
That
And
reminded me of Surya's catch.
Surya's
That actually reminded me of Surya's catch. That this catch saved us this tournament, and if we
might be a
win this
tournament
World Cup,
defining moment. It might be.
so if we win the World Cup, I will remember this catch. That because
Definitely.
of Akshar's two catches, even that the first catch also of Salt
Brook.
and the
That was
Brooks,
that was
uh,
first catch was Salt. That was an
Salt
easy catch, but
and
that catch which was Brook's catch.
Brooks catch. Yeah. So he took three catches, I think, today.
He took three
First
catches.
first one was the easy one. Second catch
Salt,
was great, running
Brook,
backwards
Brook,
and that catch. And third catch
and then Will
was
Jacks.
yeah, yeah. If Will Jacks would have been there, he would have finished
Yeah,
the
yeah, they
match
could
for
have they would have chased
hundred
it down.
percent. 100% he would have
100%.
finished them. Yeah. So that
So
was almost like Surya's catch and of that significance, I think.
now here we need to mention the person who is again one of the most special players in Indian dugout, that is Jasprit Bumrah.
Hmm.
Now that we definitely that catch was magnificent. Now just look at the way Jasprit Bumrah has used his slowers this time. I'm
Hmm.
giving like repeatedly against West Indies, he deceived Rostanches with his slower, and
Hmm.
Rostanches ended up chipping it to Sky. Today he deceived Brook, and also he deceived Rickleton in the same way against South Africa. Jasprit Bumrah, the way he is, maneuvering the slowers and the way he is using those pace variations. So, what
Hmm.
is special about Bumrah? Just before, if you remember, just before the this tournament was had started, we were a little bit concerned that whether Bumrah will be able to be the old Bumrah or not, because he was going for runs in the bilateral series.
Hmm.
Now, here comes the magic of Bumrah. Just the point when he realized that his Yorkers, bouncers, his cutters, they were getting picked up and they were getting a little predictable in the terms of the batters. He comes up with a new weapon from his arsenal, and that is his slowers. The way he has delivered these slowers this time, he has deceived Rickleton, he has received Brook, he has also deceived Rostanches last day. So the way he is using them. So what do you think about this change in Bumrah that we are being able to see? The way he is using the slowers and the way he today, that one over where they managed only 6 runs, and that too,
Hmm.
they were just seeing him off, and they kind of decided that we will go ballistic in the last 2 overs, but they did not go for hitting Bumrah. So how do you think that this guy has been for India throughout the ages?
To put Bumrah's performance to the context, so today both the teams together scored almost 500 runs, and in this particular day, actually this day belongs to the batters, because and the pitch also belonged to the batters. In this particular day, Bumrah finished with 1 for 33 in his 4 overs. Now,
Four
these
overs.
numbers don't tell the real story. For me, Bumrah is not just a premium fast bowler and a champion fast bowler. He is actually a problem solver for us, for Indian team. So just think about whenever our team is in problem in a crisis situation, and we are thinking that now we can we are in that stage where we will be in trouble. So Bumrah will take control and take us out of that situation. And obviously, Bumrah has all the variations and everything, but I think the cricketing brain that Bumrah has and the temperament that Bumrah has, I think Varun should learn all these aspects of the game from Bumrah. And then Varun can also become a contributor like Bumrah and a problem solver like Bumrah. So now where Bumrah sometimes is the game maker, sometimes he is the game changer, sometimes he is the crisis manager. So he takes different roles based on where the match is. Suppose in some match, if you have to break the game open, so he will take 1 or 2 wickets. So the what he did against South Africa. Suppose we are in a crisis situation, he will come back with a brilliant over. For example, the over in between and the that over that where he just gave 6 runs. So in a situation where a team needs say 60 runs in last few overs, 3-4 overs, if a bowler can give 6 runs and the batters did not get out, the batters were there on crease, still they could not score more than 6 runs. This is some kind of magic. This generally doesn't happen, and we have not seen such things in cricket, especially in T20 cricket. This doesn't happen.
Definitely,
I have not
definitely.
seen another bowler who consistently delivers these kinds of performances, and he is not. So to call him a champion bowler is an understatement. I think he is a genius. He is in a different league altogether. You can't touch him. He's in terms of the stature he has and the kind of contributions he has made. As I was mentioning, that it might be a big claim, but I think he is on the same level of Sachin and Kohli, and sometimes I feel he is even at a
Definitely.
higher level than Sachin and Kohli in terms of the performances he has given, the numbers of matches that he has won for India. And it will be repetitive to talk about his skills and the kind of approach he generally takes. We should celebrate a sports person like Bumrah, and obviously he has all the skills. Many other bowlers have skills, but he has something extra. He has that cricketing
Mm,
brain. He has that temperament. He has presence in a particular situation. He always dominate a situation. He always take control of a situation, which is a very rare thing to have. We have seen a lot of champion players in soccer, in basketball. Those players are calmer when the crisis situation comes. It's a very unique kind of skill or aspect of those champions. Bumrah actually have that, and Barun and other bowlers, they should learn. You can't actually learn that by talking to a
yeah,
particular bowler, but you can talk about the preparation. You can discuss the preparation. You can discuss how he approaches the game in those situations. At least you can get 20 or 30% of uh, that man, and that is enough for Barun, I think, to come back to his form. And the other bowlers, I think Arshdeep also enjoys bowling with him.
mm,
Arshdeep should also change. his approach and mindset a bit. Otherwise, Arshdeep is also a top bowler. He has those
Mm,
skills of death bowling and initial movement with new ball. So he has all the
mm,
ingredient, but he has to learn something from Bumrah. So
mm,
Both Barun Arshdeep, they can become champion bowlers, but obviously can't reach to Bumrah's level. But at least become
mm,
champion bowlers if they learn from Bumrah the way he approaches the game. So I think without Bumrah, we even can't win. So think about those bilateral series where Bumrah is not there. In those series, Siraj or somebody else actually play to their potential. Means they're performing at their best. That's why we are winning those bilateral series. And a bilateral
mm.
series and ICC tournament is completely different
Different.
ball game altogether. And I think Bumrah is for those big occasions, and also Hardik Pandya means. And when we talk about temperament, you look at how Hardik Pandya handled that over. That shows that that
Brilliant.
particular
Second last over.
individual has that temperament. These individuals wait for such situations and then they perform. Love that.
Mm,
Bumrah is,
mm,
and Hardik generally try to show also that I'm that man that will take control and in a Caribbean kind of a style. But Bumrah is always calm. He's like,
mm.
I'm here to do my job. I will quietly do my job and go back home. So that the kind of vibe, that's the kind of vibe you get from Bumrah. But Bumrah is a genius, and we will remember Bumrah for
Definitely.
a long period of time, till the moment we watch this game. We will remember Bumrah because Bumrah is something
Definitely.
else. I have not seen in my lifetime. I have not seen somebody. I've seen skills better than Bumrah, skilled bowler with lot of different variation and everything. But when to use the slower ball and what the batters is thinking, what kind of shot is that the batter is going to play, all those calculations and anticipations, and it's at a spiritual level where you are
Mm,
anticipating what the batter can do, and then based on
mm,
that you are planning and you're executing. We talked a lot about slowers and yorkers, but talking about these balls is easy, but executing, say, the way he was today
absolutely.
also, he was executing those yorkers is very difficult. Even against left-handers, he was coming, so he was bowling those Yorkers just at a particular length that the batter can't hit him for. Even the batters would have tried to hit him out of the ground, they can't. No
Mm,
batter can
mm.
hit those balls even for a four. So even I think Kohli or the shot that Shreyas Iyer played in that IPL
Yes,
match,
yes, yes.
those are the kinds of shot you could play against those balls, but that again need a different level of skill.
Level of skill
And
sets.
yeah. So you can't have a player like Bumrah. He's once in a generation kind of player, and we are really lucky. We can't say enough about Bumrah to do justice to the kind of skill set, the kind of stature he has, and kind of impact he has. Without him, we can't win any of these ICC tournaments. He's the game
Yeah,
changer.
true.
He's the main game changer we have in the team. So
Mm.
Bumrah is like, so in batting, if Sachin is the god, I think in bowling he is the god. Bumrah is the god.
Yeah, so India was never known to produce fast bowlers. So
Yeah,
I always keep saying this that it's sometimes it's so unbelievable to get these facts sunk in my mind that we have someone like
yeah.
Bumrah. So it was out of our dreams. Okay, so that was almost all about today's match. India has moved to the final, and on
Yeah.
Sunday we will be getting that mouth-watering final between India and New Zealand, and that too on a very controversial ground of Narendra Modi Stadium, Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
And we will be having some stars to look for. There will be Finn Allen, there will be Tim Seifert, there will be Mitch Santner, there will be Matt Henry, there will be Sanju Samson, there will be Hardik Pandya, there will be Tilak Varma, there will be Jasprit Bumrah. So let's wait for that match. We will come with a preview episode of the all important final. I hope you all are enjoying our videos, and we are almost on the verge of getting 1.5K subscribers. So let's hope for that thing that it comes very soon to us. And till then, watch cricket, think about cricket, and keep liking, sharing, and subscribing to Deep Point. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.